Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spoilers. Obviously, I'm your
Yay!
host. I'm your host.
It just sounds like a good point for a cheer, you know?
Yeah. I'm your host Joel, and with us, the one and only Mr. Moon.
Moses Moon. It's I. Hello, everyone. How are you? It's good to be here.
Well, hi, Moses. What's up?
Well, hello, Joel. Not a whole lot. That's what I can say. But I'm all
Okay.
for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
How are you?
I'm doing good. Not a lot of new with me, just day by day, That's it pretty much for now. But I don't know if you know this, Marvel did release a new side story short kind of thing
The
called
werewolf one?
Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, I'm saving that for the 31st. I want to watch that.
So I
It's
saw
Halloween, man.
Yeah, so
Fuck.
it's a
How
Halloween
was it?
special. It's cute,
Right. It's a Halloween special that should have been released on the 31st. What the hell? It's like a B horror film, right?
Yeah. It's cute. It's not like, scary or anything like that, but it is cute. I would love to talk about it on the podcast, but due to the fact that you are going to save it for Halloween, so we will talk about it only after. But yeah, it is good. The only thing I will say, because of that, Disney did announce a new timeline, which I don't really agree and I don't really disagree. I will go into it a lot more once we talk about the episode, about that movie. But in the meantime,
Right.
on this episode, we are going to talk about She-Hulk Attorney at Law, episode 8, the one season,
The only good one.
the only good season, and the season before we end it all. The torture that we have been going through for the past 9 weeks.
Yeah, seriously, what the hell is this? Oh my god.
Yeah. So why is this a good episode from your point of view?
Tell me what from my point of view. Well, okay, finally we have some stakes, and that's only because they're pulling the nostalgia card more or less with my boy Daredevil, Matt Murdock, because that boy, we all know he demands the scene when he walks into a room. We're all expecting it. We all get it. It was, narratively, like I said in some of the early episodes, they could have worked him in on a different level, but they kind of did it the way that, like, again, Daredevil kind of showing her the ropes, but again, at the same time, she's just like, fuck you, we can do it my way. So it's like, all right, cool. But still, at the same time, there was like proper alleged meta criticism within the episode that was really nice, that kind of like, hey, you're not actually living to your full potential. Let's kind of work with this. And Matt is the perfect how would you say, mentor in this situation, or at least someone to inspire her, because she knows he does the same line of work, but he does it from a different point of view, which was subjectively like brought up about the anonymity that was required. So, I mean, the court case was trash, but then, like, again, Matt Murdock being like, hey, this isn't your thing. And, maybe, you should like really think about it. And that was a really good meta criticism and like point of view, especially for Jennifer's character to kind of be like, yeah, I really don't do this. And then, which brings a lot of things. And then the very end where she's like, why is the episode still going? And then even though at the very end, it's the
gala.
Right, in the gala, but I find that the intelligentsia was supposed to be a meta critic on the straight white conservatives making fun of this show, but at the same time, the voice was almost correct, because they're like, if you're listening carefully to some of the allegations that they're throwing against Jennifer, while the video is surprising, like brought up and sidelined her, they're like, she stole she's not worthy. She stole Bruce's powers, da da da. And like at first you're like, yeah, but she didn't actually steal. But the allegations they're not empty, because it shows that there's like this, people recognize that Jennifer hasn't been living to her full potential, that her what the weight of her, the emptiness of what she's been lacking in doing has really caught the people, and like she hasn't been worthy of Hulkness. She hasn't really been doing anything with it in particular. And it's interesting because even the show seems to slightly critique, even from the previous episode to this one, where they're like, you're stuck on your phone, you're a techno whore, like get off, start living your life. Moving her on from that and criticizing her on her ability for that. And this one, previous to her going to the gala, she's like, I don't know, a Red Hulk's gonna show up, da da da. But the real reason was, the answer was that she was the menace, and she was the problem at the end, not just the intelligentsia. I don't think the show workers meant that to be, but it kind of like the way that it worked out was like, you were the issue, and like the fact that she lost her control and composure, and we know who set it up, and da da da. That doesn't matter. Like there's a way to handle yourself, and so clearly she has a lot to work with. So the stakes became real, and proper criticisms were levied at Jennifer Walters' character. Though it took forever to build up to this point, and we've been kind of like walking and waiting for something, this was the only episode of substance, and I was actually happy and invested, and I was like, okay, I actually care about what is going to happen to Jennifer, what she's going to choose. Like I'm actually interested, because she has, now they've re-engaged the question of potential and seeing where this should lead. And then they have a lot of things to tie off in the next episode. So it's like, how are they going to do that? Like Bruce is gone. We don't understand anything that's happened with him. What's the whole deal with Matt Murdock? Like, that was funny with the walk of shame. I thought that was pretty. At the same time, I was like, wow, Matt must be pretty lonely at these points, but whatever, take what you can get. And what's going to happen to She-Hulk? What's the deal? And what's with the bio samples that they got? Like, what's going to happen? So yeah, from my perspective, that's what I thought about the episode, more or less.
Well, very, very interesting. I did not pick up on the fact that she's a bad person over here, but I do see it now that you mention it and how you described it. But yeah, out of all the episodes, this episode I was also most invested in. And yeah, I do like, finally, like once the episode was out and I saw it, I also sent to our WhatsApp group, and I sent like, oh, finally a good episode. Too bad it's the episode before the last. Like they put all these high stakes that honestly should have been by episode 3-4, should have been around somewhere over there. They finally put all these high stakes in this episode that it's like, okay, how high are these stakes? Because next week is the last episode. So are these really high stakes, and she's just going to resolve them by next episode? Or so means it's not a high stake, or this a high stake, and by next episode, she's not going to resolve these problems, which means, oh shit, these are very high stakes.
Yeah.
It now depends how she's going to resolve these problems and by when. So
yeah,
I'm a bit frustrated the fact that they put these high stakes towards the end, but I'm also curious to know how high are these stakes. But
yeah,
put the high stakes aside, I enjoyed this show because also, yes, Matt Murdock, Daredevil, amazing. And I remember in the earlier episodes, you and I were like, while we were talking, we said like, oh my God, I can't wait to see Jennifer and Matt Murdock in court against one another. And we both said, yeah, Matt Murdock will win easily. And we see it over here.
And he did.
He did. And we see it over here. And as we see how everything plays, the only thing that goes into my head is like, wow, she's a horrible lawyer. She did not do any background check at all on her client. Like, nothing. It's like, She just immediately like, hey, I want to sue him for all these malfunctions. It's like, okay, what did you have to sue? Okay, that's it. No, it's like, why did he put the flames on? What were the instructions? Like nothing. It's like, okay, yeah, let's go and sue this guy. So it's like, you don't really know how to lawyer, and yet you prefer to be a lawyer over a Hulk, which you also don't know how to do. So honestly, you don't know how to do shit, and yet you got both things. You got to be a lawyer
what's
and
funny
you get to
about
be a
that?
Hulk.
Yeah, what's funny about that like particular thing? It was almost as if you if you saw like the the writers of Jennifer's lawyers, like lawyer side, and the writers of Matt Murdock's side, and then they just sat down in a room, and then there it was. It was just like, yeah, Matt is superior by all means, and it was just nice to see him kind of just just roll through the whole thing.
Yeah, it was really amazing, and I really enjoyed seeing him. I'm now sad because I don't think we are going to see him next episode. He also told us like, oh, I'm here until
Yeah, he's got
tonight.
things.
I have things. So, which tells me we are not going to see him next episode, which sucks.
But we may see him in a reboot question mark or extension. Then they bring something up that the Daredevil's going to come again in another.
Yeah, so we are. They
Yeah.
did say during the Comic-Con that there is going to be a new Daredevil in the MCU. So you have the Netflix Daredevil, 3 seasons, and now you have the MCU Daredevil, which is season 1. It's not season 4, and this is a different universe. So it's not going to take place in the exact same universe as the Daredevil from Netflix, but it's like a universe like adjacent. It's a close adjacent to that universe.
We got this. Yeah.
So the Daredevil and the MCU is going to take place in the universe 616, our main universe, and it's going to be called Daredevil Born Again, and it's going to be 18 episodes long. So yeah, that's like 4.5 months.
The real question is, are they gonna fuck that up? Are these the similar writers for all these new shows, or is old crew coming back, or like?
I really hope they don't fuck it up. I really hope that it's not going to be the same writers as for Miss Marvel and She-Hulk and all the other crappy shows that they had. The writers for the Netflix show, they did an amazing, fantastic job. So, I have high hopes for Daredevil Born Again, but I don't want to give to myself too much expectations to be let down. So I'm gonna be like kind of neutral. I'm going to expect greatness from this, but I'm also going to expect a lot of shit because Marvel lately has been, not dodging,
just
but
poop machine.
Yeah, poop machine. Yeah, but back to the actual episode, we see how Daredevil and She-Hulk fight one another. The reason is because her client that she was protecting in the court is being attacked by Devil. We then later on figure out that he's actually the bad guy in this episode. And she's protecting him. She doesn't know that. She doesn't know the full story, the full background. And we see how they fight, and finally she does the Hulk clap, which, if you think about it, if Bruce Banner would have done it himself, he could have probably damaged Daredevil's ear sense. And then
she kind of did, but they glossed over that, and I was like, like I thought they're gonna make a thing out of it, but then it was just a temporary,
Yeah, but
so
if it was any stronger, like Bruce Banner, he could have been basically useless after that. It's like, wow, you're very strong, you're very fast, but at the same time, your weakness is one of the biggest weakness. Like, if you lose your hearing, that's it. You're useless. You can't do jack shit. So, kind of sucks. it'll be
It
interesting
does.
it'll be interesting if you'll be able to create something to prevent that from ever happening in this universe. Yeah. But anyways,
I'm
yeah.
like, I was worried about that because I thought they were like, oh, that she'd find out who she is. He can't use his hearing, so he's like, come on with me, help me with this. And I was like, okay, that could be a thing. But then like, no, shrugs it off, which is awesome. It's fine. I need that. I need Matt Murdock doing his Matt Murdock thing. But it was just like also it just shows you like her inexperience to combat. She chose really powerful things to subdue her opponent instead of being like more thought oriented. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's just very like, oh, I'm just gonna punch the ground and shit and like try and hit you. And it's like you could really hurt this individual. Like,
Yeah,
he's
she
not
doesn't
Superman.
yeah, she doesn't care of her surrounding. Like even, Matt Murdock said, like, you never done this. Like you destroyed everything just to try to catch me. It's like, and then she says, oh yeah, I need to go put a note, like as a sorry. No, that note is a direct contact to sue you for doing
Yeah,
all that
which
damage.
I saw a TikTok and he's like, Jennifer Walters does not fight like a lawyer. And like she like of all the crazy damage, and again, I keep pointing to this like from day one, like this show could be like really interesting because either she has to get sued because of some of the damages that she causes unintentionally or intentionally, and had to deal with the repercussions of not casualties. That would be horrible. The other word about damage in the area of in combat. Hold on.
Surrounding?
Yeah, but there's a word for it. He Daredevil even uses it himself. Can I ever remember this word? Anyways, nonetheless, you know what I'm saying. It's gonna hit me when we end the episode, and I'm gonna
It
sound like a
never
real
does.
idiot. Nonetheless, but anyways, she doesn't fight smart. She breaks everything. Like that's gonna be, and she isn't hidden who she is, so that's gonna suck.
It most definitely going to suck. Again, she, like we said, she is a bad lawyer. She's a bad Hulk, and yet she is stubborn to learn how to be better, which is very, very stupid. But you do know what?
What?
Do you
Oh,
know?
QR code?
It's a QR code time.
Yeah.
So right after the fight with Daredevil, when she says like, "Oh, I'm gonna put a note," we then later see them in the car driving to what, Lily Pad? That's what her client's headquarters is called.
Hidden layer. Yeah.
Hidden layer, air quotes, is called. So they drive over there. They park their car, and right next to the car on the left side, there's a light pole. You know what I'm talking about? So
Like a
on that,
billboard,
no, like a,
or on the actual just street light.
yeah, a street light. So you have on the left side of the car a street light, and on that pole of the street light, you have the QR code that you can scan and get a free comic.
I remember the word. Collateral damage.
Collateral damage.
Anyways, free comic. Which comic was that?
I don't know. I didn't scan it. It's most likely a She-Hulk comic.
Well, no, duh. Amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the QR code of the day. And now
QR code of the day.
Yeah, I should make it a thing.
Have you noticed these last 3 episodes have not had an end scene?
The last 4 episodes.
Even better.
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with that?
So I had a theory why there's no end scene. So the first theory is they are saving the last good end scene for the last episode, because usually the last episode in every Marvel show, you have an end scene that will be like reveal something for the future projects.
Yes.
So that could be theory number one. Theory number two is all the other end scenes were so shitty that everyone's been laughing and shitting on it on the internet that they decided, you know what? Let's take down all the end scenes and just leave the last one because that is the one that builds up for the next project. So that
Well,
could
I
be.
mean, so then it's just the idea then that we've missed so much of Jennifer Walters cranking and twerking on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh well, the world
No.
will never know.
The world will definitely never know. But yeah, now we are at the lily pad, the evil guy's lair, which he calls himself Frog, something like that. Frogman.
Leapfrog, the frog guardian frog.
Yeah, God Frog. Yeah, I don't know. It's a stupid name. What was
An unworthy name.
unworthy? What was interesting to me is the fact that he flew with his jetpacks. It's like, really, you telling me you have that technology? You have Iron Man kind of technology to fly
For short
Eh,
bursts.
it's like, and this is just some random guy. All he does is designs clothes. He does not design technology. You're telling me you have now these jets that can help you fly? I doubt it. That was like the only thing that bothered me with him. But anyways, yeah,
His character has been interesting because it's like, well, who are besides Daredevil ? And why in particular? How did that contact get created? But like, who else has he worked for and why? And then, like, are the Avengers really connected to him, or are they not? Or why? Like, who's designing? Like, who actually designs the costumes? Like, Black Panther, we know who and why.
Iron Man, we know who and why.
Iron Man, we know who and why.
Thor, we know he designs himself.
That's it's Asgardian, yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's
The Guardians also
government
designed themselves.
issues. Yeah, Guardian, the government issues for
Mhm.
Black Widow, Hawkeye.
So I
Winter
think
Soldier, we already know.
I think he's more like I design clothes for the unknown heroes and villains.
For the elite,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But what was interesting, I did forget to mention during the code scene with Matt Murdock and Jennifer Walters, Matt it mentions the Sokovia Accords.
He does, yeah.
Which
But they're over.
Which I see you do remember that, but to anyone who doesn't remember the Sokovia Accords, during Age of Ultron, they that happened in Sokovia, and everything that happened in Age of Ultron led to the Sokovia Accords agreement and lawsuit that we later on see in Captain America Civil War, and that's whoever signed it works for the government. Whoever doesn't sign it is basically a villain now, air quotes.
Yeah, just a registry of all super people, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So as we
Lost
know,
identity.
Yeah. So as we know, Captain America did not sign it. So whoever did sign it must reveal their identity. Whoever did not sign it doesn't have to. So, which is interesting because in the first episode, Jennifer did say she does not want to sign that contract, and yet she's okay with revealing her identity. And yet Matt Murdock did not sign the contract, and he's not okay with revealing his identity. So I don't know.
What about Peter Parker, besides using magic?
Did he sign the...
In the comics. In the comics, I think he did, and he reveals himself to the world.
I know at some
point
he
causes
does.
A lot of problems.
Yeah. Well, we did kind of see it in with Mysterio.
Yeah, that was an interesting take on it, and I liked it. So
back to the episode, we now then see Matt Murdock, or Daredevil to be more accurate, and She-Hulk devising a plan how to approach and attack and save the artist who designed the costume. And this is also the first time we see her in her costume. And over here,
Yes.
we see a little bit more of the Daredevil's powers, how he can hear very well and he can smell very well.
Mm-hmm.
And She-Hulk
It's
is
like a
like,
dog.
yeah, and She-Hulk is like, does this kind of turn me on? It's like, how can you hear, the heartbeats? And like, I'm not gonna go into it. And I like the fact that he said, don't like, I'm not gonna go into explain because we already saw the Daredevil show. So
Yeah.
it's like, let's not skip, let's not talk about it. We don't need to do another Spider-Man movie and see Ben Parker die, or Batman movie and we see how his parents died. We know the origin. So I like the
Yeah.
fact that over here they did like, we know the origin. I'm not going to explain how I got my powers.
Yeah.
So that I did appreciate. But then he goes, does his thing. She then finally helps him, and they get the bad guys. Later on, they have the nasty. They do the nasty together. What did you
They
think about
do.
that?
I I was torn because again, Matt Murdock, I'm all for my boy. So you get her, son. But at the same time, it's like, really? Ugh. But at the same time, when else is gonna meet another lawyer superhero and have? I mean, she did a reveal who he was, so you could kind of get away with it, kind of deal. And if anything, he can sue her and know he'll win. So yeah, it all works one way or another.
If he sues her, he will reveal who he is because he
Yeah, court
she
records.
yeah, she did that to Daredevil,
This is
not Matt
assuming that
Murdock.
she reveals him. So,
Oh yeah, yeah. But
but
I do, go on.
I'm just basically saying in the end, like, I'm kind of for it. Like, I didn't mind it so much, but at the same time, I was just kind of like, I didn't really care. But whatever, like, it's the only relationship I actually care about because the stakes are, you better not break my boy's heart. I don't know what I'll do because you're not real, but like, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do remember while talking about this show in the early episodes, I did mention like, I think they're going to sleep with each other, and you got like all annoyed about it. Like, I hope they don't do
Yeah.
this. It's like, so they did it. The second they did it, the only thing that went into my head is like, Moses not going to be happy about this.
I mean, I wasn't, but at the same time, like, again, it's my boy. Like,
Yeah,
a win's a win.
the only thing that was like, okay, you know what? I'm okay with him sleeping with her is the fact that he did the walk of shame and he had the smile on his face. Like, you know what? Okay, I'm all good with this. I
Yeah.
I approve. But the only thing that I have to say about Jennifer, she's a fucking slut. She,
I mean,
she,
they said that.
oh my god, no. So in this episode, I like, wow, you're a major slut than ever. So we have the guy who sleeps with her while she's the Hulk, and she meets
Hmm.
over the app, right?
Yeah.
How many dates did she go on with him to sleep with him on that first date, on the very first date?
Yeah.
Okay. Then the guy she met on the wedding, on the third date, she sleeps with him. And with Matt
Yeah.
Murdock, she doesn't even go on a date. She immediately, let's just have
Well, I
sex.
mean, when you have a superhero outing and stopping crime, it could get the passions going. It's a pretty good date.
Yeah, it's not a date, but the thing is, she is a hypocrite bitch. She's
Hypocritical
like,
bitch.
yeah, exactly. She,
Yeah, yeah.
all guys are nasty. I need a good guy. I don't want a guy, and blah blah blah. And like,
Hmm.
I should have honor for myself. And then we see like immediately with this guy on the first date, with the only nice guy that we see, know him on the third date. We later on find out he's not a nice guy. And then with him, like, oh, we have so much in common. You're a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, you're a hero, I'm a hero. You know what? Let's fuck the date and let's sleep immediately.
Let's get it on.
But it's kind of
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
you, mm,
I don't know. Nowadays, like, I don't know if it's levied criticism to be like
no, but
slut calling or whatever, but I don't recall her ever saying like I want to take things slow, I don't want to whatever. Like that's where I'd be like, okay, you're hypocritical. But like the fact that she's hooking up with people, like even then when they're showing it, yeah, it's embarrassing, but like everybody does that in that world and this world. Like they, again, like modern sensibilities being put into fantasy world. Like they haven't showed in the MCU other than, like the only person's love life I ever cared about was basically Captain America. That's why
Yeah.
I teared up when he's dancing with Peggy at the end, because it's like, oh, you finally got the girl. It's beautiful. And he had that one thing with the descendant of her, but it's fine, and it's like, okay, whatever. But that ended, and it wasn't that big of a deal.
Mhm.
Everyone else I don't really care about. But again, like that wasn't the focus of the MCU. So when you have a character, and was one of my main levied criticisms against this whole show, is again like putting modern sensibilities into shows can be fine, but if you don't like, if you like, this whole show felt like they were doing it to be like, this is content, this is real. It's like, no, this is everyday normal life, and no one cares about that. It's really boring. Like I hear this drama at work all the time. Like let me enjoy something that's more like crazy. Like give me more Huang. Let's see them fighting demons. Let's go. Like I'm all for that. Other than that, like, so like I didn't, which is why I found it hard for like me to be like, you didn't build anything into it for me to be like, when they're like, oh, and she's a slut. It's like, okay, I mean, those are kind of harsh words, especially nowadays, because everyone's sleeping with each other. It's just like, I don't see.
I don't know. She gave herself standards, and she multiple times broke those standards. So it's like, can you
But
like?
that is the hypocrisy in this general world's thing. Like
Yeah,
the people are criticizing, oh, people
I
don't
guess
want a
I'm
body
I guess
count, want
I'm
to.
I guess I'm criticizing too much. But yeah,
I don't know. I don't say it's not a fair point, but it's at the same time, it's kind of like I don't know how strong that is. You know what I mean?
no, it's not something that bothered me that much or bothered me at all. It's just like, something that I'm nitpicking about.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
She like, again, the whole thing, men bad, and yet she's doing the very things that she was criticizing men for. Fair enough. Like it's a worthy point to show. Again, like she's not an admirable person, but it's a again, what was used in the video at the end to kind of like trigger her. But at the same time, if you're going to go on a more psychological route, the only thing that bothers you about other people is actually yourself. I mean, and when you're upset with someone, the reason that you're upset with them is not necessarily the thing that you're seeing within them, unless like you have genuine like dissidence and you're like, okay, you're not reaching your full potential. But in some essence, it's a reflection of yourself. So if you're not genuinely like looking at other people and getting upset for various other reasons, you're actually more likely, the case is that there's something in your life that you're angry about, or don't have whatever to get like all flustered by. It's you're the issue. So when at the end they turn it on the head and be like, it's not some big enemy. It's like, no, She-Hulk, you're unworthy of the title, da 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 da. She spent her whole time trying to be like, oh, da da da, I'm great, I'm fine, whatever. And they're like, no, you're empty. You haven't given us a reason to believe in you, both meta and within the world. And I was like, and she gets angry. I was like, yeah, you're upset. You would be. You are not worthy of being a Hulk because you haven't, lived up to your potential. Fair enough. And I was like, I hope they go on that. I hope in this next episode there's some realization that, she's like, I get it, because in some way, some of the way to resolve this conflict is for her to agree with them and to finally answer the call to adventure.
Well, the thing is, no one rang, so how can she answer the call when no one calls?
But that's the thing. Like she got the induction into the call to adventure.
Yeah.
And then there was nothing in her life that really denied it except herself. She was just like, no, I don't want to do it. She knows the responsibility and the potential. And even her cousin was like, you can do so much. And she's like, no, I'm gonna be a lawyer. And then people have been constantly throughout the episodes been like, you could do this. And she's like, no, I'm a lawyer. This is how I choose to fight. It's like, cool, but And then even the clothes maker guy, he's like, here's a super suit. She's like, I'm not gonna need this. Da 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 da. A hint, a push, like, come on, live to your potential. And then Daredevil, you're not doing this thing. And then finally, in the end, the intelligentsia is just like, you're not worthy. And she's like, fuck, like, come on. And so, like, finally, this is the point of like, okay, no one had to die in her life for her to be like, I could have done something. Now it's like, oh wow, the mirror is on me and I really could have done something. Now I have to respond. She has to respond at some point.
Yeah, she does.
She's going to look like the bad guy, so she has to defend herself, and part of that could mean that she has to be like, either ask for forgiveness and or do something to redeem herself.
Yeah, she definitely needs to respond. I do agree with that. When they found out about the intelligentsia site, and her friend told her about the site, and she's like, yeah, it's just, trolls being trolls, like putting it aside. So, which is an example, like, you found out about people who were trying to kill you and stop you, and you did nothing about it, and look what it got you. So she had the potential to stop it, but she didn't. And now she is in a point where she has to respond. She has to do something about it. And she did not start on the right foot, because everyone is now afraid of her, which I was kind of interested. Like, really, all she did is go angry and, break a, TV screen. And immediately we see her parents are afraid of her. Her boss is afraid of her. Her friends are afraid of her. Like, she didn't attack you. She attacked no one. All she did is break the screen that on the screen is her having sex with someone that filmed her without her consent. So is she like the bad guy of it? And should we be honestly freaking out the fact that she did this? No, but
probably not. But
everyone is freaking out.
It's a good reflection. I didn't mind that reaction because it just showed how shallow they all thought of her. Like, they're like, oh, she's so nice, da 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 da. They've never seen her engage in the potential that she is, and so when they see her tear this huge thing down, they're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
It's the monster paradigm, Frankenstein's monster. Like, like, whole village goes to destroy the monster or runs away because they have no understanding of her.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that. It's, it was interesting how they all freaked out, or like, and yet she attacked no one. But then she did attack.
I agree.
But then she did attack the guy that was filming her because he works for intelligentsia, which now comes the question: who are the intelligentsia? They were able to do so much without actually revealing who they are. So this is my question for you: who do you think they are?
I don't know. Like, they didn't ring a bell to me. Like, maybe there's something in the comics about them in particular. I didn't catch anything, and I didn't look anything up. So they seem to me to be the kind of like, you saw Avatar: The Last Airbender, right?
Obviously.
Did you see The Legend of Korra?
Yeah, I did.
Unfortunately, yes.
I did.
Yes.
Yes,
okay. So they're like the what are the non-benders called that form an organization? The equivalent.
What, the Red Lotus?
You know what I mean, though. No,
not the Red Lotus.
The beginning, the first season, the protesters
with
like,
Amon.
who are non-benders.
Amon,
yes,
Amon is the leader. I don't remember the name of the organization.
But regardless, the point is, like, this is a collective of people who've been like super people powered people, business superheroes, or are, they have too many rights, or like, this is the collective that are like, we're not as defensible as these people. We need to be safe, kind of deal. Like, we don't have superpowers, and yet they think that She-Hulk's the most approachable, so they steal her DNA. So obviously these guys have high connections. The real question is, how far is that going to go, and to what ends? And we'll see. Maybe this will lead into the creation of a character or of a conflict in other series or in movies. I'm not quite sure. So I don't have a particular theory. Do you have an idea of who these people might be?
Well, I do not because I got anything from the show itself. I do because I see a lot of people mentioning it on the internet. So, you know how you have the movie The Incredible Hulk?
Hmm.
By the end of the movie, you have the bad guy who has a cut on his head and a few drops of Hulk's blood enters his forehead. And then his
Right.
head becomes so big. And
The
I
brainy
don't,
dude.
yeah, I don't remember his name, but the rumors are because it is confirmed that we will see him in future movies of MCU, maybe even in the new
Strange.
Captain America movie, New World Order.
Mhm.
He is intelligent. This is intelligentsia. Maybe this is his organization. And you have all these
I
other
feel like
small,
it's such a smaller, like with the way that the MCU is building towards multiverse business craziness.
yeah. But
And it's also the Equalists is what the was
yeah,
the name of Iman's crew.
the
But
equalist,
moving
yeah.
forward,
Yeah,
yeah,
so the
moving
theory
on.
is you have that guy, then you have I forget his name, but he has a big head and little feet and little hands on this little robotic thing. He's also very smart. Anyways, I think the
It's lots of smart
intelligence.
peoples.
I think this intelligentsia is basically an organizations by these very smart evil characters who are
Mm.
trying to create their own thing. At the same time, let's not forget in the Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and the Falcon TV show, over there we meet Val, who she is trying to create her own side, Avengers.
Like the anti-Avengers, yeah.
Yeah, like the
There is a name
anti-Avengers.
for them. I totally forget who they
What
are, but
Thunderbolts, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
mm,
but we haven't seen her yet, and we might even see her next episode or in the after credit trying to collect more people for her thing.
maybe
Because we
I
do
didn't see
see,
her in Hawkeye or I didn't see
yeah,
her in Winter Soldier or the Falcon, the Winter Soldier.
yeah, no, we saw her like maybe 2 or 3 times max, but I do expect to see her more slowly
Oh, we did
within.
actually. Sorry, that was my bad.
No, no,
That's the
it's all good. But I do expect to see her more often, slowly, as we get closer to the bigger picture. Um,
mm,
well, we are now at we could say last episode. Next week is the last episode,
the finale. Yeah.
the finale. Do you have any theories for next
Mm,
episode or for what is to come after this show?
mm. I mean, to be honest, I haven't really given like I've been so uninvested that I haven't given or dedicated any time to such queries. But if I was going to speculate within the moment, she's gonna have to deal with this. There's two possibilities. In the end, she's either going to be quote unquote redeemed or accepted by the public, and we move forward. And then there's a hint for some greater thing that she either accepts or is going to be hinted at joining,
Mhm.
or or that she doesn't resolve this and she's rejected, and so thus this furthering the conflict, and that she has to deal with it into the what is to come, with whether she's going to join something or not. So a hint at either furthering the series or something that they're going to bring up that will make sense, that when she appears in a movie or as a cameo, will be like, ah, that makes sense. But
Okay.
I couldn't honestly say there so much nothingness happened that it's all going to be a surprise to me, because if they're going to pull stuff up from like, oh, and then this person shows up who we saw in the first episode because she interacted with them even though there was no like bond or anything established, like Wong and the Abomination and all of his friends come show up to help save the day. It's like, like a court of opinion might happen, where she has to stand on trial, and then all these people are character witnesses. And That'll be really dumb if that's what it resolves to. But I'm really hoping for not the latter, the previously mentioned, the idea, the conflict that she has to really get on board and find something to, to step up her game, to appeal to the court of opinion of people, not just actual court, and like actually go do good in the world.
Hmm. Okay.
We'll find out.
We
What do you
we
think?
will find out. Well, I do expect for her to resolve this, but if she does resolve this, the stakes were not that big, so So I actually also expect she won't resolve this. Like that would be a very interesting and high stakes ending. And what the fuck is going to happen next? We don't know because it's the last episode. So
Yeah.
it'll take us time to figure out what actually happens. What I do expect to see in the next episode, this episode, if I'm not mistaken, was episode 8. And
It was.
they did change the order of the episodes. Technically, this episode was supposed to be episode 1, the flashback that we got.
Right, you're telling.
Yeah,
I recall, yeah.
So the flashback that we got was actually supposed to be this episode. So it is. I actually do think it was a lot smarter that they put the flashback in the beginning. But I do expect to see Bruce Banner in the next episode, a cameo, not in Earth, but to see what the fuck is going on with him. Because also at the
I
wedding,
think that's going to be like the end scene credit. Like, what's going on with Bruce?
That could be an end credit, and I would very much love it. When she was in the wedding, she was drunk, and she's like, "Bruce, I'm calling you. You haven't answered for a few months now.
Yeah.
What's going on?" Which does tell me, because I also want to sort out the timeline of this show. So we start this show in the year 2024 after Shang-Chi, but by the end of this show, I am pretty sure you did not notice. I'm pretty sure you did not notice in this episode, in the background, we see an ad for the Avengers play musical thing.
Nice, like in Hawkeye, so Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. So we do see an ad for that, which tells us this episode takes place sometime between Spider-Man No Way Home and Hawkeye. But because it's summertime, so it should actually be after Hawkeye. So it should actually take place in 2025. They don't tell us how long this show is, like the period, how many months has it been. But the thing is, you also don't see, winter time. You don't see snow. I don't know if it snows in California. Well, probably doesn't. But
it's West Coast raininess.
Yeah, but we basically, with my math, we start after Shang-Chi 2024, and we finish it after Moon Knight 2025. So where should I put it in the timeline? Like, how should you watch it in chronological order? I right now still put it after Shang-Chi because we start over there. We will see. But the thing is, with that play was in New York. And this show takes place in California. So I
California.
It will be interesting how this will play. But yeah, I do believe we got to the end of the episode.
Yeah, what did you rate this episode?
I'd give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing. Closer to an 8 for me, just because Daredevil, but
yeah.
But yeah, 7.5 is pretty good.
Yeah, 7.5, 7.6. Yeah.
I mean, what were our ratings for it? Like what, 2?
Yeah.
So that's a pretty significant jump.
Yeah, it's a high jump from 2 to 7.5. Again, this out of all the episodes, I think episode 1 was good. Episode 2 was okay. This episode was great. And again, it's not like great, like, oh my God, it's great. Like, okay, finally something's happening, some movement and all that. But yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing though. Like if our expectations have been lowered so low that all of a sudden something like this happens and we're like, oh my God, like maybe we should not. I'm all for it. Like I got you.
Yeah, but I do believe we got to the end of our episode for today. I'm your host, Joel, and with us today, Moses Moon.
It's me.
We talked about She-Hulk Attorney at Law, episode 8. I'm going to put all the links in the bio for my Hebrew podcast and Moses' Instagram radio show, Reforge Radio, guys. Listen to it. Must have. It's amazing.
You're so kind.
We are spoilers, obviously, and we'll catch you guys up on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.